Do you know what? It's funny, really. This is the most detached Operation Arsenal of the season. Obviously, I feel very much like our season's finished since we got knocked out of the Champions League. And obviously, Liverpool have already won the title. So going into this game, I just felt so, well, detached. Just whatever. Whatever happens tonight, as long as we don't get absolutely battered, I'm just kind of like, whatever. I'm very much of the opinion that this has been a massively disappointing end of the season, and we could beat Liverpool today, which obviously we haven't done. We could beat Newcastle and then beat Southampton, and I would still feel down. However, the game then comes along, and I'm actually 2-0 down, and I'm feeling like I want to turn it off. But then in the second half, the players came out and they actually showed something, and I was invested again. There is still something in this squad, guys, and people will give up on the team. I get that. And a lot of people will give up for now, and they will return for the new season when we've invested in the squad and we're ready to go. And I think I almost fell into that category about 90 minutes ago. It felt like I just don't care about this season anymore. As long as we secure Champions League, I could not care less anymore, right? And effectively, just beating Southampton on the final day will give us that. But do you know what? I felt like I was right back in it, making it 2-2. I screamed. I was like, yes, get in there, you know? And I didn't expect that feeling. And that's because I love this club and I love this team. I do. I do love this team. Yes, you could say we should have won something this season. And it's kind of embarrassing that it feels like everyone else is winning something, or at least in a final. And we fell at that last hurdle. But honestly, this result here, I actually feel some pride. Just a little bit of pride, because 2-0 down against Liverpool, who, let's face it, have been the best team this season by quite some distance in the last few months, especially. It should have been it should have been 5-0, 6-0, 7-0. In the past, it would have been. We would have capitulated. But do you know what? We came out in the second half and actually showed what we've got. Got a red card and obviously had to defend very tightly for the last 15, 20 minutes especially. So predictable. It feels like Arsenal are allergic to playing against the top team with 11 men for full 90 minutes. That's what it feels like. And I will say this, at the very start of the game, we looked really good. The first 10, 15 minutes, I actually thought we were well on top and we had great chances. We could have easily been leading the game. And then, of course, in typical Arsenal fashion, we miss those chances and then we concede. But I am still relatively proud of that performance, considering the situation. It's Anfield. We never win there. It's Liverpool. They're the best team in England. I don't know what else to say other than it's still pretty good. We've shown some fight there. And actually, in the second half, I reckon if we didn't get the red card, which was a red, by the way, no arguments there, but we could have gone on to win the game. And actually, we almost did. Ødegaard with that last-minute shot, on another day, that could have crept in, and we'd be going home with 3 points. Completely unexpected, considering we were 2-0 down. And by the way, there was a stat that came up in the game that Liverpool have played an outrageous amount of games where they've been 2-0 up at half-time and they've never lost. It's something stupid, like, 170 games, and they've only drawn 2 times in that situation. So it was so unlikely that we were going to win this game. So unlikely, but we almost did. We can have a look at the stats here. It was a really, really good game of football, actually. I think there were moments of great quality, but also some moments where top players were definitely off it. I thought Salah had a bit of a stinker today, to be honest. A lot of times he got into really good areas and then his pass would be off. He didn't obviously score today. Or did he get an assist today? No, he didn't, did he? It was Robertson and Szoboszlai. So, surprisingly, we managed to keep Salah pretty quiet. And that, for me, all credit goes to the most fantastic young prospect in the Premier League this season. And that's a season where lots of other young players have done well. And actually another one for Arsenal with Nwaneri. But Lewis Skelly, for me, should be winning Young Player of the Season. And today was another great example. He might not be getting an incredible rating here, just a 6.4. But he kept the best player in the world this season quiet. Not bad, eh? Marino had actually a very good game until just kind of like 5 minutes of madness where his legs just failed him. He wasn't able to run, it would seem. He gave away the ball and they almost scored from it. And then he gave away the ball and lunged in twice. Got a second yellow. See you later. Absolutely a red, by the way. Trossard injured. Trossard injured for Newcastle. Not good. But what I will say is it means we'll put Martinelli up front, I think. I hope so, because this was the biggest change in the second half. It felt like Arteta decided, right, we've got nothing to lose at this point. Let's be more attacking. Just do this from the start, please. So frustrating when we're playing this systematic, scared football. It's so rigid and we're scared of having shots, whatever. Second half, Martinelli through the middle, Trossard on the left. It worked so much better. And of course, Martinelli scored quite early on. Great headed goal. Not what you'd expect from Martinelli, to be honest, a headed goal. We scored 2 headers today. But we looked a lot better. It felt like Ødegaard was urged to get further forward and not track back so much. That obviously changed with the red card. But it was so much more fluid. And of course, look, you can take all of this with a pinch of salt because Liverpool have nothing to fight for today other than a bit of pride, I guess. They've already won the title, so I think if this game happened a month ago, it'd be very different. And actually, they probably would have gone on to win 3 or 4-0 because they would have been more up for it potentially. It probably is in the back of their minds that it's kind of done, isn't it? They really didn't need to get into 5th, 6th gear today. And they didn't play badly, by the way, Liverpool. I just think we did very well against them. And we had, I guess, more of a reason to fight today. We wanted to go back home today and not get smashed. I think a couple of years ago, definitely prior to Arteta getting things going here at the club, we would have capitulated for sure. I can't imagine with Emery or Wenger, we would have fought back from 2-0 down at Anfield. And they could have just played with us like we were food. Realistically, they could have done that today. And for some reason, I guess they just didn't do it. They weren't able to, at least. But maybe they felt sorry for us. Yeah, I'm a little bit concerned, though, going into Newcastle, because if Timber and Rice, who are missing today, aren't available for that game, and now we're going to be missing Marino because of the red card. Trossard looks like he's done his hamstring, so that'll be absolutely the end of his season. That's 4 very, very key players added to Havertz, Gabriel. I mean, Havertz, there is a potential we could see him before the end of the season, but there's only 2 games left now, so is it worth risking it? I don't know. But I want to see Martinelli play up front in the next game. And I don't know how we're going to shape up at the back. Maybe Lewis Skelly will move into midfield. Maybe Lewis Skelly will play in that left 8 role. And then we'll have Tierney play at left back. His final game at the Emirates. I'd actually like to try and get there. Maybe I can get Newcastle the home game against Newcastle, get some tickets there. It's going to be a weird one, though, because you want the final game of the season to be a chance to see the players and clap them and say, well done, fantastic season. But in reality, I think we were expecting a better finish to the season and we've been really poor. In fact, we can take a look at our form. It's it's not great, is it? This is just our last 5 games and we haven't won a game. But it's actually more than that, I believe. So that's 3 there. And then, okay, no, it is 5 games. We last beat Ipswich 4-0 and then I was at the Palace game too. Well, we haven't won since I went and watched them. Oh, dearie me. But of course, it is just 2 remaining games. And if we can finish with a win against Newcastle, and I'm just going to say this now, I think it's unlikely. The reason I say that is because Newcastle are going to be fighting for their lives at the Emirates because they are absolutely in a dogfight for Champions League football. And we are slightly ahead of them. We'll take a look at the table in a minute. I just have a feeling that that's going to be a really tough game, especially now with more names missing. We'll see if maybe Timber's going to be fit, maybe Rice is going to be fit. I don't know what's going on there. But if we lose to Newcastle or draw to Newcastle, it's not the end of the world because I think we'll go to Southampton and we'll finish the season strongly with a win there. And that will, of course, be enough. But how is it going to look? With that point, we are 2 points above Newcastle. So if they beat us at the Emirates, they will go above us. And that will absolutely be their aim. And I don't know who they're playing in the last game of the season. They've got Everton. Okay, Everton could put up a good fight there. We actually have to play Newcastle again, don't we? Yeah, in July. I think we're playing Tottenham as well. God, look at Isaac with his 23 goals. Unbelievable. Just out of curiosity, okay, so this is their season stats. You can see they have shared a lot of goals with players that maybe aren't strikers, but the majority of their goals come from a striker. How did I get to that? Yeah, here we go. Doesn't look as good, does it? It's just like, yeah, go on, you have a goal, you have a goal, you have a goal, you have a goal, you have a few goals. It's just, we are lacking a talisman up front so badly. And I tweeted out during the game when we were 2-0 down, to be fair, and before the second half performance where we looked better. But just saying, I'm crying out and I'm excited, and I cannot fathom what it's going to be like having a fresh attack next season. The fact that we could be going into next season with a new striker, a new left winger, I think it's vital that we upgrade on Martinelli. Maybe Martinelli is going to be kind of a squad player from next season. I don't know, but absolutely we need a striker. Who knows how it's going to go down, but obviously I'm very much looking forward to it. The squad isn't good enough offensively. It isn't. And the Ødegaard we saw in that second half, more of that, please. But congratulations to Liverpool. I'm a big fan of the fact that we did the Guard of Honour. I think that is very important, and it shows respect and class. They outclassed everyone this season. And, you know, there's this stigma for Arsenal fans out there that we're all awful people, that we're awful fans, and that we just think we're the best. And I'm not like that, and I want everyone to know, especially Liverpool fans, that I have huge respect for what Liverpool have done. There is no denying it, in my opinion, that Liverpool did get slightly more luck this season with injuries and maybe slightly better VAR decisions, but it's football. Look, that's going to come across as salty, but there is no denying it. If you go through the season, that Arsenal have had some absolute hammerings from VAR, and I'm sure Liverpool have had some as well. It just feels like the start of the season, everything was lumped on Arsenal. It's definitely improved. And the injuries have absolutely destroyed our season. There's no doubt about it. But Liverpool were the better team. They deserved to win the Premier League this season. And it's the same in the Champions League. Whoever goes on to win it, which I think it's going to be PSG, they deserve it. They really do. And no complaints from me in that regard. The right teams have done what they've done. What I won't agree with, though, is this notion that Tottenham and Manchester United and Chelsea, because they're in their respective finals, that they're having a better season than us. No. Okay, now let me say this. Winning a trophy is what football is all about. I get that. And obviously, if you can win a trophy, it's incredible. But I won't have it, especially United and Tottenham, who are currently, and I'll prove it to you right here, Manchester United, supposedly the biggest club in the world, right, from England, and Tottenham, we can't say the same for them. They're 16th and 17th. I don't care who wins that final, and I'll be rooting for United, genuinely. I want United to win the Europa League. I can't have Tottenham doing it. Because, yes, it's a European trophy, but this is not a better season. Getting to a semi-final of a Champions League and finishing 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th in the Premier League, for me, is statistically better than having a 16th, 17th place finish in the league, which is the bread and butter, and winning a Europa League trophy, which, by the way, we haven't had any of the top teams from the Champions League that have failed to progress drop into. It's a completely different system now. It is easier. I'm sorry, but it's easier to win the Europa League than the FA Cup, it would seem, this season. I think Arsenal would walk the Europa League this season. Fair play for winning your Europa League trophy, but I wouldn't change places. I wouldn't. We're where we are for a reason. And I think next season, you know, it's massively important that we win something. It has to be a Premier League or a Champions League season next season, or things will undoubtedly need to change. But I needed to throw that out there. I'm not having that. Tottenham and Manchester United have not had a better season than Arsenal. I don't care what you say. You can show me your Europa League trophy. Congratulations. You enjoy that moment. Trophies are where it matters. I get that. But this is embarrassing. This is embarrassing. 16th and 17th. How can you say with chest that you're having a better season than Arsenal? Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you for my next review after inevitably a really tough game against Newcastle. Damn, I've come across as so salty at the end, haven't I? I am salty. I want a trophy.